David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another fountain pen review. Today, I have for you another pen from a company which I recently featured for the first time on this channel, and that is Vazir. It's the pen that first got my attention from this company. I can't recall where I saw it on social media, but as soon as I did, I knew it was something I wanted to get a closer look at. And when I saw it was priced at $99, I was certain that I wanted to get a closer look at it. And that pen is called the Horizon. What I'm going to do today is go over the parts and features of this oversized offering, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for about it. I'll show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. Thanks go out to the good folks at Vazir who are based in India for providing this pen for review. And there's a lot to like about this pen. And to learn more about what I feel makes it special, please join me over here at camera 2. The pen arrives in this box. It's just barely large enough for the screen here. But it's a very nice quality box, wood box with some faux leather on it. It just feels a little bit nicer than a standard box, which is nice. And the lid lifts off, and inside we have a little bit of information about the pen, when it was purchased, and then there is Vazir, and they have a chest theme with a lot of their items, and a bit of a use and care guide here on the back. And here is the pen. One thing I thought was kind of funny was this is the pen and it arrives with a sleeve, but the sleeve is too short for the pen to fit in. So this sleeve won't fit this pen. So I understand that this is a large oversized pen and there's not many sleeves that will carry it, but maybe it would have been nice to have a sleeve that actually fits the pen that they're selling. And here is the Vazir Horizon. And you can tell here, this is the intriguing material that really caught my eye. And it really does look like a horizon, almost like a sunset. And I just love the layers here, from the oranges to the purples to the blues to the reds. I just think it's nice and vibrant looking. And I love the size of this oversized pen. This is a very large pen that just barely fits in the screen here. Now, let's go ahead and go over the parts and features of this. Actually, let's get a closer look at that material there. And I just think that that looks really nice. And then even that blue stripe down the middle is intriguing as well. So in regard to the parts and features, you can see the end is rounded. One thing that I would care for is I wish the material would match a little bit more on this end piece. I know that they potentially can come from different pieces of material and it matches a little bit on this side, but it doesn't quite match on this side. While it's not the biggest thing, I just wish that that would match a little bit better. Then we have the clip. Now this clip does seem rather small on this pen, but this is a rather large pen. But this is kind of, we'll just say, a normal size clip. I do like the wheeled look there, and it is a bit on the stiff side, but the wheel does help it work with materials of varying thicknesses. There is a medium-sized rounded step down to the barrel. The cap actually angles up and then straightens out for the last inch or so. And then for the barrel, it's straight for about an inch and then tapers down at a fairly even rate of decline. Maybe it goes from one angle and then a second angle down here near the end. And you can see here at the end that it is rounded. The cap twists off with about just over 2 rotations, and underneath we have a number 6 stainless steel Yovo nib. Now, I will say that with this very large pen, one of the things I wish is that it had a larger nib, just because the number 6 nib looks so small in comparison to the rest of this pen. This is a fairly decent sized nib, but I wish it had a number 8, just because I think that would be a little bit more size appropriate for this pen. You can see here that it is engraved with that chess logo, which is found on a lot of Vazir's logos. I think the word Vazir has a relation to chess. And then we have the plastic feed. This is a large pen, like I've mentioned many times, and the section is fairly large. It's concave, and I find it to be very comfortable. I do enjoy a large section, and this one is plenty thick enough. And I find that in this, while I typically grip my pens a little closer to the middle or closer to the end of the section, with this one I tend to leave it down here near that swale, so more in the middle of the section. We have the threads back here, which are resin, which are not sharp, and I'd say a medium-sized step up to the remainder of the barrel. This pen obviously is plenty long enough to use unposted. It does post. I know it's not going to fit all here in the screen, but I'd say it becomes a little bit unwieldy when you post this. I don't think it's the best look. Kind of has a bit of a mushroom look to it, and it does backweight the pen just a little bit, not too much. This isn't an overly heavy pen. It's just more kind of unwieldy than throwing off the balance. But uncapped or unposted, the pen is very comfortable in the hand. This is a cartridge converter pen. It accepts standard international cartridges. A converter is provided. And with the construction of this, that being one piece, then it certainly could be used as an eyedropper with the appropriate precautions here. And also something I didn't mention is right here at the end. It does have the Vazir name once I get in focus there. Okay, another one of the things I really liked about this pen was the price. The Horizon is available on the Vazir website for $99. For nibs, there was extra fine, fine, medium, broad, and 1.1. And then, if you recall from the other Vazir pen that the Meteor Shower that I reviewed, there is the option to affix this with an engraved nib, which costs $110. And so and I think is a bargain. And to have this pen with an engraved nib for $209, I feel is a very reasonable price. So I think on its own for $99, this is one of the better under $100 pens that I've tested in quite some time. And I will say that a lot of review pens that I have, I might use, review, they get returned, and some of them get put away. But this was one that's going to go into my rotation, and I'm going to use this on a fairly regular basis just because this is a pen that's really fun to use. So, okay, now what we're going to do now is have some measurements, and then I'll come back with some size comparisons, and then we'll have a writing sample. Here we go with some size comparisons for the Vazir Horizon. First of all, wanted to share, this is the Meteor Shower, which was the other Vazir that I reviewed. And I mentioned the engraved nib. Maybe I should have showed it, but there is that engraved nib, which I just think is very cool looking. And fairly reasonably priced. And this is what it looks like in comparison to that pen. Now, in regard to some other large pens, it's going to be hard to fit them all here on the screen. Some of the largest pens in my collection, first off, we have the Danny Trio Genkai. I guess that fits. And it's slightly larger than that pen. And then here it is with the Namiki Emperor. We'll try to get it straight there, but you can see it's slightly larger than that. So this might be the largest pen that I have in my collection now. In regard to some other fairly large pens, here it is with a Pilot Custom Urushi. And then here it is with a Edison Collier Grande. And then finally, here it is with a Matthew Martin OG Chonk. In regard to some uncapped comparisons, here it is with the Namiki Emperor. So even though it was larger than the Emperor capped, uncapped, the Emperor is still the king. And here it is with the Collier Grande. And here it is with the Custom Urushi. And here we go with the writing sample for the Vazir Horizon. This is a broad stainless steel nib. And the ink I'm using I thought was appropriate for this particular pen, which is one of my favorite oranges, which is Ackerman Orange Bovin. This is what the ink looks like. Like I mentioned, it's one of my favorite vibrant oranges, along with Mont Blanc Lucky Orange. And then here it is with the Robert Oster Panatic Fire on Fire. Here are what the incredible Ackerman bottles look like. As you can see here, it has this long neck. I just like the design of this. And what happens is you tilt this down, and then it doesn't quite do it right when I'm doing it on the side, but that ball, when you have it here, will then plug the hole, keep ink in this upper portion here, which is fairly large, and then you ink the pen up with the ink that is up there. So I think overall the bottles look really cool, and I just like the functional design as well. And here we go with the rest of the writing sample. Just barely fit in there. I find this broad nib to be very smooth. It's kind of bordering on glassy smooth. There's just a hair of feedback to it, but it's very pleasant. I'd say the ink flow is on the medium side. And in regard to reverse writing, it is a little scratchy, but it does lay down a fairly decent fine line. In regard to some fast writing, the feed keeps up very well. So there we have the Vazir Horizon. I'm really glad that I found this brand this year, that this has been a nice, pleasant discovery. Even though it's early in the year, I have a feeling that one or both of these Vazir pens are going to show up on my list of favorite pens of the year when I produce that list later on at the end of this year, just because both of these have been so fun to use. And then on top of that, I feel they're very reasonably priced. And so for an under $100 pen, or right around $100, that this would be very high on my list of pens that I would recommend for that price point. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.